Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Nyumai and I'm from India. Today I'm going to follow Bob Ross tutorial painting, A Ray of Sunshine. And before going straight to the video, I would like to show you what I have. So first of all, I have this a beautiful piece of plywood that I got from my friends Sui and Ken. This will be my canvas, and also I have this 2-inch brush and another 1-inch brush, and also some lining brushes, and actually this is a chopping board, but I'm going to use this as my palette. And this is my palette knife in case if I need. And also most of the people suggest not to use this acrylic pen while trying to follow Bob Ross tutorial, but I go for the cheapest one, so I'm going to use this. Okay, so let's go to the video.
First thing we want to do is figure out where our light source is. And all you have to do, maybe it's right here, just a little bit off center. Start with the lightest area and begin working outward. See? Maybe this is a joy of paper towel painting. There. But you want this to be your brightest area in the painting. So we just start from there and we work outward. Outward, outward, outward. There. Isn't that fantastic? These colored gessos are just unbelievable. They do wonderful things for you. They open whole new doors of imagination. There we go. A little bit more. Notice I always start back in the center with that brightest color. And if you get little buildups of gesso here, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. When the painting's finished, those little high points will grab the paint and it makes beautiful things happen. Don't fight with them. All right. A little bit more. And wherever. And if you do 1,000 of these, each one of them will be different. But what's so great about them, once again, even if you've never painted a painting in your whole life, this is one that you can do. Recently, when we had our teachers' reunion, we had a gentleman with us, Mike Gorak, who had never painted in his whole life, and he works with a paint company. So we got that rascal up in front of all these certified instructors from all over the world, and we had Mike paint his first painting, and he did a beautiful job. And this is the one that he painted. There. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay, a little bit over in here. And once again, with this gesso, we don't make any mistakes. Because if you paint an area too light and you don't like it, all you have to do is take a little of the dark gesso and go back over it. It's no big deal. There we are. Something about like that. That's all we're looking for a background. All right. A little bit of the gray here and there, because I want this to be a little darker out on the edges, so that it looks like we have sunlight in the center and it's working outward. So I'm just using a little bit of the gray gesso right over the top. See? So if you don't like it, if it's too bright or too dull, you can change it that easy. Because this really is your world, and here you can do anything, unlimited power. Now normally, if I was at home doing this, I would allow this to dry. It doesn't take but a few minutes since this is gesso. I'd allow it to dry before I started the next thing. But here we don't have that luxury, so I'll just show you how you go about putting the next layer on. We'll just pretend that it's dry. But when you're doing this yourself, I'd really recommend you allow this step to dry completely before you do the next one. It's just a little bit easier to do. Now, this takes a very complicated tool. This is called a foam brush. That's all it is. It's just a little disposable foam brush. Now, where we have the light area, I'm going to use black gesso. Where we have the dark area, I'll use white gesso and gray in the middle. I want to graduate the color. That's all we're doing. So let's start and do some little background trees. I'll take this little foam brush and go through a little bit of the black gesso. Just load it up. It doesn't really matter. Something about like so. Okay, see we have both sides with a little bit of black on. I hope that shows. And we go up in here and we have to make our first major decision. Where up here does our tree live? All you do is touch, and as you work down, apply more pressure, and automatically your tree trunk will get larger toward the base. And trees normally look better if they're bigger on the bottom. So, there we go. Something about like so. So you just put in as many or as few trees as you want in your world. That's all there is to it. It's really all there is to it. There's no secrets here. Now I'm going to start going into some of the gray gesso. Because these over here, they're farther away from the light. So when we're done, the gray gesso will be a little bit brighter. And we can go right into pure white. There. But see, the variation, that's all there is to it. Maybe we'll just do a couple of white ones here so you can see how they're done. We've painted the whole forest here in just a second. But that's really all there is to it. You just sort of work back and forth and wherever you want them to go. Maybe over here on this side, maybe here's an old tree that's got a yonk in it, a little crook in it. Trees aren't all straight. Some of them have old crooked areas. It doesn't matter. Back into our gray and our white. Same basic thing. The farther you get away from the light source, the lighter you want these to become. And when we paint it, you'll understand why. A little bit of the gray there. When we apply oil color over the top of this dried gesso, then all of this makes sense. Now I've got a little script liner brush. It's just our regular little script liner brush. And I'm going to add water. I'm going to use water like we normally do paint thinner, just to thin the gesso so it's nice and thin. Okay, then we can go up in here and we can decide there's always little baby trees living amongst all these big ones. So we can put little delicate trees and sticks and twigs. If you have enough water, this will just slide right over it. There. And we can begin applying all kinds of little limbs and arms on these trees. Wherever you think they should live. It's exactly where they should be. There we go. See that? Already it's beginning to look like it's deep in the woods. You know what's neat when you're done with these? Some people look at it and they like the black and white gesso version as well as they do the colored version, what you end up with. So this is an excellent way to study value, just black and white. When I was a young pup and went to art school, this is one of the things they had us do to learn to paint. We would take something like tempera paints just in black and white, and we had to do entire paintings so we understood value. This is a lot more fun and a lot easier. There we go. And back in here, well, pretty soon you don't even know where these little limbs and arms, who they belong to. Doesn't know that it matters. It's just filler for the background. And I'm not going to sit here and paint each and every one of these trees. I just want you to see basically how these trees are done. Something like so. And as you work across over into here and you get into the white trees, then you'll use white gesso to make its arms. About like that. I'll put a few on this old tree here, just a old crookedy limb. Just so we can see what he looks like. There. And give your trees character. Don't just make them perfectly straight with arms that come out both sides. Let your brush just have an imagination all on its own. Let it go. And as you play with this, you'll begin to shade areas. By that I mean you'll take a combination of the gray and white and mix it together, and you can shade the side of trees where you know light will be coming from. It's unreal what you can do with this. You can actually paint things like little barns or whatever with gesso, and then just come back and put an oil glaze basically over the top of them. It's that easy. Okay, let me just do one or two little white ones so you can see how they're done. Over here on this side, so you can just bring little white arms right off him. A little more of my water here. There we go. Now if you use your good liner brush for this, as soon as you're done, wash it. Well, with good amount of water, because your little liner brush, if you let that gesso get hard in it, you've ruined your brush. I don't want you to have to go buy a new brush. There. Take care of your brushes and they'll last for many, many years. Another little thing that's real good. Have some limbs coming from over here where you don't know where they are. They're back over there somewhere, because the trees didn't just stop right there. Let some limbs come from over here. It doesn't matter from where, but it'll make your painting look more realistic. Some little sticks and twigs. A little bit of gray gesso here and there to make some gray arm.